What's up, guys? It's Fernando back with another video, and today we have my UFC 327 review. This card was loaded from top to bottom, and for once, it delivered. We had a great night of fights, so let's get into it. Now, to start things off, I just want to say I know ball. I'm an absolute genius. If you go back, I am 10-2 on my picks, and I really don't give a shit about one of the losses because I wanted Carlos Orberg to win, and I wanted him to win in fantastic fashion, violent fashion, and that's what he did. Obviously, like I just said, Carlos Orberg ends up winning the light heavyweight championship, knocking out Yuri Prochazka. Now, this is how I wanted the fight to play out, and this is exactly what I got. Yuri Prochazka, he's so erratic, he's wild, he's got a low fight IQ, he is horrible. I don't know why people are so enamored by Yuri Prochazka and think that he's some warrior. He's a mid-level fighter that will never, and I hope he never comes close to touching the light heavyweight championship again. He is completely overrated. He got slept by Alex Pereira, and he gets slept tonight by a guy who was fighting with a torn ACL. So, obviously, the fight's playing out. They come together, and Carlos Orberg's knee just blows out. Torn, I'm pretty sure every ligament in his knee is torn. It looked pretty bad. He can barely walk. So, Yuri's doing his normal bullshit and continues doing his little fuckery with his little spinning warrior bullshit that he does, and he gets caught with a nasty left hook, and he goes down right to the ground, and Carlos Orberg hops on him and just beats the ever-living shit out of him. And that was the most satisfying fight that I've seen in some while. It was such a successful hate watch, man. I don't care that I got the prediction wrong because I kind of predicted it right. So there was that. Now where we go from here, you can continue fighting all these mid-level fighters, all these up-and-coming light heavyweights, because you're a bum and you suck. I'm putting it out there. I might be the only one in the world saying that, but he is horrible. As for Carlos Orberg, he's got about 9 months of recovery, and it's really gonna suck. But as for the time being, we have some new contenders in the light heavyweight division, so this the division seems to be brought back to life just ever so slightly. Now that we don't have Alex Pereira in it, he was kind of holding it hostage because he was just running through everyone. Now, I'm going to have to wait around 6 to 9 months for the next light heavyweight championship if that knee is indeed actually torn, if all the ligaments are gone. So, overall, great fight. For as short as it was an amazing fight. Lots of action. Feel bad for Carlos Orberg, but I got what I wanted, so I don't care. And in the co-main event, we had Paulo Costa versus Azamat Murzakanov. This fight played out exactly like I predicted, exactly how I predicted it. I thought that Paulo Costa would be able to pick his shots and pick apart Azamat Murzakanov, and that's exactly what happened. He did that through the first round, really got ahead near the end of the first round, and Murzakanov actually came back in the second round, but then the head kicks by Paulo Costa eventually took a toll. I believe it hurt Murzakanov's left arm, and eventually knocks him out with the head kick. Fantastic performance by Paulo Costa. He looked exactly like he looked in his last fight against Roman Kopylov. He looked like he had a high fight IQ. He picked his shots. It looked good. And like I said previously, we now have a new contender at 205, and he's a fun one. This division seems to be coming back to life. So we have him. He can go on to fight any of the top 5 now. He's going to be ranked top 6. I believe Murzakanov was 6, so he can go on to fight any of the top 5, especially now with the champion going to be out for a while. The world of light heavyweight is getting a little bit better. As for Murzakanov, he's going to have to work his way back up after taking this loss here. Then we have the fight of the night, and we have Josh Hokett versus Curtis Blades. I expected the fight to be okay. I expected it to be good, but this fight was just absolute insanity, and I loved every single second of it. Just back and forth, all 3 rounds, pretty much all on the feet. These two just slugging, throwing bombs, trying to knock each other out. Now, Hokett ends up winning by unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Going from here, the light heavyweight or the heavyweight division has a little bit of life. Personality aside, yes, Josh Hokett, I believe he is a corn dick. It's annoying. It's kind of stupid in my opinion, but when you fight like that, when you fight like he just did, and you put on the entertainment, you can do that. I don't care if you do that every time you fight. You can act like a complete jackass outside the octagon. I am fine with that. So, and we actually got announced that it's going to be Josh Hokett versus Derek Lewis on UFC 250 at the White House card. And that fight is going to be chaos in itself. It's gonna be madness. The only thing is it's gonna be a real test for Josh Hokett. He ain't gonna be able to fight like he did in this fight, and get hit the way he got hit and against Derek Lewis. But I'll get into that later on down the line. And as for Curtis Blades, I really wanted him to win. I didn't think he was gonna win, but I wanted him to win, and he's just gonna continue. He's probably gonna stay in the top 10, and he's gonna continue fighting doing that. But overall, the best fight of the night, best heavyweight fight possibly of all time. It was just nonstop. These two were gassed, but they didn't care. They kept going at each other and fighting. It was amazing, and Josh Hokett ends up coming out on top. So we got life for the heavyweight division. We had Johnny Walker versus Dominic Reyes. This was a shit show. Next fight. And to open up the main card, we had Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr, and Cub Swanson absolutely puts on a masterpiece in his retirement fight. This fight, it was violent. Cub Swanson was on from when the cage door closed. He was on. He put it on Nate Landwehr. He pieced him up and ended up just hitting him with the overhand, kind of straight right down the pipe. Sat Nate Landwehr down, hit him with one more follow-up shot, and then the ref jumped in, stopped the fight. So good overall story for Cub Swanson in his retirement fight. His family was in the octagon. Great showing by him. And the featured prelim night, we had Aaron Pico versus Patricio Pitbull. This fight played out exactly like I thought it would too. It started off a little bit competitive, but then Aaron Pico, midway through the first round, took complete control, and man, he looked good. He looked fantastic. He was sticking Pitbull nonstop, and his striking was so technical and just perfect. Everything he threw just looked like a really, really good boxer, and he pieced up Pitbull through the whole entire fight. We look like we have a contender in featherweight with Aaron Pico now. I think all the abilities there and everything, but I feel like his fight IQ isn't quite there yet. I would really like to see him work on his timing and his cadences. He seems to be going in. That's how he got caught in his last fight against Lerone Murphy. He kept going in at the same time, at the same cadence and the same rhythm, and that's how he got caught. But skill-wise, he is really up there. His wrestling and his takedowns looked absolutely phenomenal. The way he was timing his takedowns, he had the takedown before it even hit the mat. That's how good he timed his takedowns. He just got to Pitbull so easily. Pitbull, like I said, he was going to look stagnant. He looked old. He didn't look like he had anything for him. Pitbull, I don't see any future for him here in the UFC, so he can go kick rocks for all I care. He sucks anyways. But Aaron Pico, we have something with this guy. Maybe work on that fight IQ, but the technical ability, it's all there, and I can't wait. Hard-hitting featherweight, so great fight there. We have Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown, and this fight, would you look at that? Played out exactly like I thought it was. I thought Kevin Holland would find a shot, but little did I know the shot was going to be with the leg kicks. In the first round, he was able to pick apart Randy Brown, especially with the leg kicks. Randy Brown had a bunch of welts all up and down his leg, and from there on, Kevin Holland really controlled the fight. He ended up just piecing him up, damaged the leg, and actually got it to the ground and threatened with a nasty Darce choke. I don't know how Randy Brown ended up getting out of that. He got out of that, but then got back up. And then the third round was kind of boring. They kind of held each other up against the fence, but Kevin Holland ends up going on to win by unanimous decision. Overall, fun little fight there. Everyone loves Kevin Holland. I can't wait to see where he goes from here. He's probably going to go fight 16 more times this year. After that, we had Mateus Gamrot versus Esteban Rivas. This fight was complete domination. Mateus Gamrot was able to get him to the ground and hit it and choke him out with the arm triangle. Played out like I thought it would. I didn't think it would be this dominant, but he completely dominated him. It was no problem for Mateus Gamrot. He ends up getting the submission win, and fun little fight, but complete domination. We had Lupe Godinez versus Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez just ends up getting a rear naked choke after Lupe was able to drop her in the first round. This fight played out like I thought. Lupe wasn't going to be able to stop the takedown. She couldn't. She gets held down and she gets choked out. Then we had an action-packed lightweight bout between Chris Padilla and Markel Medeiros. Chris Padilla was putting the pressure on him the whole entire fight. And this fight was originally announced as a win for Chris Padilla, a split decision, majority decision for Chris Padilla, but ended up getting overturned later in the night to a draw. Now, originally, believe it or not, I had it as a draw. I thought Chris Padilla won the first round, but he lost the second two. And people are like, "Oh, wondering why." You guys don't understand. If you don't understand why this was a draw, you don't know mixed martial arts. The judges got this one correct, and I know I'm not with the majority here, but they got this one correct. Chris Padilla won the first round with pressure and was able to get off his shots, but he ended up getting caught a lot. Markel Medeiros was finding his shots and doing way more damage. People think that when one person's backing up and the other person's going forward, that the person backing up is automatically lose. That's not the case. If they're firing back, counter-striking, and doing the damage that Medeiros was doing, you win the fight. If I was Medeiros, if I was in the fight, I would believe that I won the fight. Even though I was on the back foot most of the time, you were doing the more damage, which in fights, what's one thing? The damage. So the commentary team was just really awful with this one. I believe they got this one completely wrong. He busted up Padilla's face, and he really found his shots. And overall, this fight was a little bit weird. I'm glad that no one really took a loss here. I had Padilla winning in my predictions video, but that he didn't end up winning. But I'm gonna count that as a win anyway. So I still went 10-2 on no ball. I'm like that. So if you need anything MMA, make sure to come to me. Now, this is the one prediction I got completely and utterly wrong. The only one on the card that I completely swung and missed on. I struck out on this one. We had Kevin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque ends up dropping Kevin Gastelum and then wrapping him up with a darce, and nasty darce he has, and submitting Kevin Gastelum. I didn't think Kevin Gastelum would be able to get knocked out or that he would get submitted. I thought Kevin Gastelum's wrestling was more superior than Vicente Luque's, and that he wouldn't be able to get him to the ground, but he ended up dropping him and choking him out. So we had that one. The one major flaw on my predictions. And then the first fight of the card, we had Francisco Prado versus Charles Radtke. There was actually two fights that I forgot to make in my predictions video, but I still put it at the end. But this was one of them, and Charles Radtke wins by a unanimous decision. He completely dominated Francisco. Not completely dominated, but Francisco Prado came out hot, and then Radtke just took control of pretty much the whole fight and won by unanimous decision. So there was that. But overall, the fights were absolutely fantastic. They were good. We got some good announcements like the Josh Hokett versus Derek Lewis at 250. Gable Stevenson will be making his UFC debut on International Fight Week. That's even more hype for the heavyweight division that has kind of died out. He is a young prospect, gold medal wrestler. He's been knocking people out left and right, so that's a real good addition for the heavyweight division. But the card was stacked top to bottom, lived up to all the hype, and I can't wait for the next pay-per-view. And in mind, we lost a fight on this card, but like I said, great card. I can't wait for the next one. So overall, I did 10-2 in my predictions. I'm just reiterating, make sure that you guys know that, and yeah, that's all I have for you today, and so I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.